This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so the top 10 goal setting tips for network marketing. If you're in direct sales, if you're in network marketing, this one's going to be good. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Gamble. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. My background is actually in traditional business. We own a holistic health practice. We own a real estate company. I am an affiliate marketer and a network marketer, and I am a John C. Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. So in saying all that, if you've been depressed, discouraged, disillusioned, you're frustrated, you're mad, you want to give up, you want to throw in the towel inside of direct sales and network marketing, I get it. I've been there. When it doesn't seem to be going right, when you can't get that next recruit or you can't get any recruit, you can't make a sale, it seems like something's broken, you're saying the wrong things. This is going to be some stuff that'll really, really help out. So, and you're going to want to absolutely listen to the end, because there is something very specific that I'm going to tell you that will be changing, life-changing to your business if you plan on building anything significant. So the very first question you have to ask is, why goal setting, right? This is something usually not taught at school. It's usually not taught at home, at least in the homes that I've been in. And there's a really cool study. It was actually a book written called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. And in that, it talks about goal setting, and specifically the Harvard Business, and I'm reading it directly from the book. A Harvard Business study found that 3% of graduates from their MBA class who had their goals written down ended up out earning by as much as 10 times the other 97% combined. Not just I beat them by 10 times, but if you group the 97% together, they beat them by 10 times. So the goal setting was that important to make it happen. And it was a very small amount, only 3%. So if there were 10,000 graduates, there was like 300 people who wrote their goals down. Very, very small. Do the others have goals? Yeah, the others have goals, but there's certain things they didn't do, which is the reason they didn't accomplish it. What's interesting is the ones that just had goal, which is about 10%, actually financially did better than the other 97 too, just not 10 times the entire combined amount. So why goal setting? Pretty simply, it is a difference maker, like by a ton. If you want to separate yourself into the category of the people who win, this is a necessary trait to succeed inside of direct sales, inside of network marketing, inside of real estate, inside of insurance. It doesn't matter. So next, when should you start setting goals? And the idea is immediately. In direct sales and in network marketing, I've always believed there's two goals. One goal is activity based, and the other goal is, what is the next level you need to hit? Most people are setting goals that are way out there. They're like, I want to be an executive aluminum distributor, or whatever the titles are in your company. I'm making fun of the industry. And I'm in the industry, so like I'm not bashing it. I'm just like making fun of all of our different levels. Whatever the next level is, that's the level you should be running for. What most people do is they're like, my goal is way the hell out here. And I'm like, well, why don't you set your next goal as something you can actually accomplish right away? Because that win will build upon the next win. It gives you confidence. It gives other people confidence. When you make a win to the next level, which is why they set it up like this. The original companies, the original network marketing companies did not have all these levels. Didn't. The original martial arts did not have all the belts. It was, you were a white belt, and then you were a black belt, and then you were a ninja. I'm just joking, but like there weren't the middle. There weren't, gold, yellow, purple, polka dot, orange, rainbow. Like none of those existed. Why did they put all of those levels in? So that way you could make incremental climbs, and every time you climb up one rung on the ladder, it inspires other people. Oh, if they did it, I can do it. When you see somebody go from 0 to level 100 and there's nothing in between, people are like, how the heck did that happen? It seems like magic. If it's just magic, then I don't want to participate. Doesn't seem like a good idea, right? So number 2 is when. So the first one is why set goals. The second one is when to set goals. You want to set goals immediately. Now the next one is, where should we set goals? Where should we set goals? Well, you can set goals in every area of your life, right? You can set goals for your health, for your wealth, for your spirituality. You can set goals for, weightlifting and running and reading and, the amount of time and dates you go out with your significant other. I mean, you can set all kinds of goals. Where should you start is a question. And what I'm going to suggest is if you're in direct sales and you're in network marketing, where you should start is just in your business. Yeah, it's great to have all those other goals and all those different areas, but let's talk about what will solve the most immediate problem you have. It's probably building your business. If you build your business and you have enough money, now you're going to have enough time to do these other things. So focus in one area. So where? Next, what's the number one need? What should I set a goal in? Activity and whatever the next level is. Those are the two initially. Once you have a group of people on your team, the first goal is always activity. So just to clarify, the first goal is always activity based. I learned this from one of my mentors because he said, look, you cannot predetermine what everybody else is doing. All you can determine is what you do, which is why if you look at the best people in the world, they didn't go compete over and over and over again. They went and trained over and over again and then competed. Same thing in business. You have to go out and do your contacts or your prospecting or your presentations or your follow-up or your close. You've got to go through that process over and over and over again. And what you're tracking is the number of times you're getting through that cycle, right? Not the number of people you talk to. A lot of people are like, well, I prospected 300 people. Great, but if you didn't move them to the next step, that's good that you prospected 300 people, but you're missing something to get to the end. I would suggest only tracking how many people you get all the way through the cycle, whatever your cycle is. For us, it is make a list, prospect, present, third-party information, get them to an event. It's those 5 things. If you can get them to step 5, that's a full cycle, right? So I can track that. That's activity. I know if I'm getting people to there, then I can do it. Well, what happens to the people that just go to step 1 and step 2? You just prospect them and you present and they're like, this isn't for me. To me, they don't count. They don't count. That's just how I've done it. So my numbers kind of are skewed by some people when I'm like, look, I presented to X number of people. I'm talking about the people I ran through the cycle where I made the list, I prospected, I presented. So when I get to step 3, that's a full cycle. I cannot determine whether somebody wants the information that's going to come to the event, but I can at least get them to the presentation and make sure that they've seen a presentation. If they haven't seen it, watch. If somebody hasn't seen a presentation, they cannot buy from you, they cannot join you, and they cannot refer you. If someone has not seen a presentation, they do not know what you do, they cannot refer, they cannot buy, and they cannot join. So what the hell was the point of chasing them around to me? So what is step 4? Step 5 is how do you do this? Because we talked about setting goals, we talked about writing it down, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go through a really simple, this is super, super simple. We actually detail this out inside of our growth and achievement, where it's detailed down like a funnel. Here's everything you want. Here's a few things we want in the next few years. Here's exactly the exact goal that we're going after for the year. Here's the plan. Here's the DMO, daily method of operation. And then, then you've got it. Here's tracking. That's the last thing on the list, right? You have a dream, you have a goal, you have a plan, and then tracking. If you can do that, you're going to accomplish your goals, especially if you're working with a mentor. Especially if you're working with somebody who accomplishes their goals on a regular basis and you see them breaking goals on a regular basis, or achieving, not breaking. So the very first thing when setting a goal is being specific. A lot more money is not good. I want to build my business is too generic. I want to get to this level with this many people, that's specific, but I'm going to give you one better. I need to hit this income level. Specific has a lot to do with using a number. You want to have a number. I want 100 recruits. It doesn't have to be 100. I'm just saying. I want 2 recruits, right? Your first goal in most companies is anywhere between 2 and as many as 6 recruits, usually in most companies. And there's a volume base to it. Why is there a volume attached to it? Because even in direct sales and network marketing, they know by setting a goal, they're going to give you a number to go hit. So that way you can focus on the number. Why? Because you can check and balance a number. You can't check and balance a feeling. You can't check and balance building a big business. What's big? Well, as soon as you attach a number to it, now you know specifically what it is. So that's why the first thing is specific. If you're going to write a goal down, what specifically am I going after? Is it what's the number? That's why I always ask people, what's the number? And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, there has to be a number. That's what specifies it. So number 2 is measurable. Obviously, if we're using numbers, now we can measure where we're at. If you need 100 in volume and you're at 50, you're at 50% of the way. Like, so you can actually track progress here. This is really important because a lot of times people will set goals and they don't hit them. The problem is, it's because they don't track. They don't even realize they're getting closer to their goal. They're just like, I missed, it didn't work out, so therefore I'm done. No, let's look at how close you got, right? This is why in school, when you go to take a test, they're like, look, the only way you're passing this class is with an 80%. There's 100 questions. You have to get 80 of them right. So therefore, if you get 79 right, you know you missed by, I mean, it's a horrible thing, right? But you know you missed by 1. You're like, shit. Can you imagine them not giving you the answer at all? You failed. Well, how much did I fail by? What did I fail in? What questions did I make? Like, you have no idea, right? And there's some tests that are like that, and they're really, really tough. Unfortunately, life is like that. Business is like that. You don't know. That's why we track. So it has to be something measurable and trackable. Next, attainable. Attainable. Is what you're talking about attainable in the time frame that you gave? Is it attainable in the time frame that you gave with your current set of circumstances and your current skills? So the attainable part really has a lot to do with working with somebody who's like, that's possible or that's not possible. Now, do people achieve the impossible? Yes. Yes, they do achieve the impossible. But here's what I do. Let's look at what the average person does. Let's look at what the fastest person does, and then judge based on what they've done. Are you willing to do the work that it took to get there? That's what attainable means. Next, realistic or relevant. Realistic or relevant. So now we get into, is this worthy, right? Is this worthy of my time? Should I invest the time? Should I do it? Because for some, it's not worth it. You know, is it realistic? Yeah, it's real. It could happen. Is it relevant right now that I need this, that I should do this? This is where it really gets down to, why are you doing what you're doing? This is the why question. Why am I doing it? It's relevant because I need this money to not have a job anymore. I need this money to take care of my kids. I need this money to take care of my parents. I need this money to take care of my grandparents. I need this money to live my life on a better standard. I mean, it's your reason. It doesn't have to be my reason. It's nobody else's reason. It's your reason. But you have to have the reason. That should be what it is. It shouldn't be realistic or relevant. It should be the reason. The reason why I'm setting this goal. Reason. I'm changing ours to reason. This is the reason why I'm setting this goal and why I'm working so hard and why I'm staying up late. Tracking. I'm changing 2 of these. There's all kinds of versions of these, by the way, if you look them up online, but I'm changing them specific for what we're doing, network marketing. Timely is the last one. Timely. Are you going to get it done in a certain time frame? I'm going to change this to tracking, because if you're not tracking what you're doing, you're joking, you're kidding yourself. And the measurable part is the tracking part, really. But timely. Are you going to get it done? What is the time frame that you're going to get this done? That's why goals work, because most people work without a goal. It might take you this long to do something. Have you ever had to go on vacation at the last minute? Or have you ever had to leave town at the last minute, whether somebody's sick or somebody's graduating or something good or something bad happens usually? Like, it's usually really good or really bad, right? When you have to leave right away. But when you do, all of a sudden, there's this list of shit that normally takes you forever to do. And all of a sudden, you have to do it in 3 days. Isn't it amazing that you can get all that done before you leave on vacation? But it seems impossible to get it done over the course of 1 or 2 months, which tells me you should go on vacation more often. And that's the tip. No, that's not the tip, but that would be a good reason. The real reason is, when you set goals, you can take decades and turn them into days. That's the real reason. You can shorten your time frame. Hi, Karen. You can shorten your time frame so much in working and building a business if you have a time frame to it. And what you're trying to do is condense that time frame and basically take the same amount of activity and put it into a smaller time frame. And that's what creates momentum. People are like, what creates momentum? People think finding the right person creates momentum. No, it's being that person that creates momentum. It's taking this much work and condensing it into this much time. When you take a substance of any kind and condense it, you create pressure, right? And that pressure is what creates momentum. So with that being said, here is the tip. If you like what we're talking about here, we put together a community called Join My Leadership Network. Join My Leadership Network is a series of coaching, training, and certifications. So head over to our page, joinmyleadershipnetwork.com. The very first video talks all about leads. So if you're needing leads, if you're wanting leads, if you want to know what to say and how to say and where to find people, that is specifically the very first thing that we teach. So with that, I appreciate everybody jumping onto this training. The best trained team always seems to win. The best trained team always seems to win. So let's lock arms and achieve some goals and dreams. Thank you, guys.